and welcome back to another great episode with Car Talks. Now today I'm in the 2019 Alfa Romeo Stelvio. And what a great looking car it is! This is the 2.2 litre diesel model. No, I don't like diesels, but I thought as I had the opportunity, I'd give you a look round. I'm starting from the inside this time, but currently been through a bit of a drive in this one. It's currently got, as you can see, the black leather and the nice embroiderment in this model. This also has got, and I'll step out so I can show you a better angle, the performance package. Now the performance package comes with these gnarly carnage size paddle shifts that you would probably see in a Maserati or a Ferrari. It's also got the start stop button on the steering wheel, which is very nice. I like that touch. It's sort of difficult to get used to, but it's easy to see. It's toned in well. It's not red like the Ferrari, but it is a very nice touch. It's also got the stability and dynamic control for the driving side of things, so the ride is slightly harder, but again, it is a very, very good drive. Yeah, as I was saying, the carnage size paddle shift, and actually they're in a really great position because they're not too far away from the steering wheel. It's got electric seats and it's in this fantastic Monte Carlo blue colouring. What a great colour. Yes, you can get the key for this in the same colour, but that's an extra £50. I'll go and grab the key actually. The key is still in the car. It's a bit of a chunk. I don't really like it personally. That is the key. So you can get this bit here to match the same colour as your car. You got the 10V spoke 19-inch rims on here, which is a £790 option. Yes, £790 for that. This new Monte Carlo blue is a £710 option. But I think I like it. Not too big, not too small, but on the drive so far I've noticed that I'm not a huge fan of the view out the back. So just have a quick look in the boot. So all you do is look at the key. It's got the double press for the boot button. Opens up. God, isn't that got a big boot? Size of that. That was surprising. Very, very surprising to me. And as usual, it's got a lock button here, or just press the boot button, drops it back down. So I like it's got these chrome exhaust tips on here, and it's got four-wheel drive, Q4, Stelvio. Sorry about the noise, but one thing that also, talking about noise, so if I click it open, bring you round, so if I go to lock the car, open the car up, go to lock it, it gives this really irritating beeping noise as if the alarm's going off. But I think best bet, let's go for a spin. See, look, noise again. Welcome inside the Alfa Romeo Stelvio. It's a bit of a mouthful, not really, but I can't pronounce it in the Italian accent. So this car is a 2.2 litre diesel engine. It's a 4-cylinder and it produces 190 horsepower. This car, it's nippy. It's actually got really, really good driving ability. We'll go out and show you in a second. It's 0 to 60 time isn't fantastic, but you're not necessarily going to be doing that in this type of car. It's around the just over 7 second mark to 62. It's actually got quite a lot of torque, hence why the performance and the driving feels so good. It's about 450 Newton meters. Newton meters of torque. That is big. That's big in a small SUV like this with kind of a small engine. It doesn't feel like it's got a lot of power, but it's got a lot of kickback torque. Does about 49 miles per gallon. But one thing that does get to me, I mean, it's kind of an occurring thing. Cars obviously going up in value in terms of their starting prices. I remember cars when they were a lot cheaper. This starts at about 39,000 before you've spec'd it, so it's got the performance kit and it's got a few other bits and pieces on it. So you're looking around 45 to 50 grand for one of these. Would you pay 45 to 50 grand for one of these? Questionable, but second hand, a few years old, you'd probably pick one up for sub 30s, I would say, after a few years old. But it does the job. Let's go for a drive. Off we go. Now, I was saying earlier, these paddle shifts are kind of gnarly looking. They're massive for this type of car. I was not expecting it. So we've got a few different dynamic modes in here. So you'd have to put it in D mode, click the gear stick into M, which is to the left, and then you start with the paddle shifts to get the proper performance out of this car if you're wanting to do that. It's a car that you're probably not going to do that in, I admit that, but that's what you would do. It's got a lot of space. The seats, they're not uncomfortable, but they don't seem to support me like I have had in other cars, like my last video, which was the Range Rover Velar, which will be on the screen if you look up now. Range Rover Sport I've driven, that is very similar to the Velar. The X5, that's very comfortable, but these I find that the lumbar support here, they're not quite hugging you enough, they're not quite holding you in. But it is a very nippy car, so if I flip it just into paddle shift mode, you can hear the revs building. It keeps it kind of in a sporty drive mode, but it is still quite quick. I wouldn't say it's putting off any land speed records, but if you want it out of that mode, I'll just flick it into M mode, then back into drive. It's the quickest way for me that I found to get it back into that driving mode. The drive is quite firm, but I wouldn't say it's the firmest of them all. I would say that it has plenty of comfort, so I don't feel like I'm in a race car, because obviously I'm in an SUV. But at the same time, I do feel a lot of the road underneath the pedal and underneath the seat for this type of car. But I think they've done a very good job with this Alfa. It is very sporty, it does the job, but every day on the road, I think this is a great car. The visibility out the back, it's not great, as you can probably see, because of the angle of the boot. You probably only get about 6 or 7 inches worth of view out the rear view mirror. I'm not overly convinced that this is the car for me. I would advise people to go for it if you like the Alfa brand, because I've known in the past they haven't been very good with their electronics, but I tell you, they've done a vast improvement since I've been in an Alfa Romeo. They are big on improving, they like finesse, luxury, and steering wheel's very comfortable, paddle shifts in the perfect position to shift. And I'm sure if you were to go for the super duper Stelvio, I think that will be the best option in my opinion. I just like speed, I like noise, I like performance. This car does give me a sense of that, but I'm not 100% convinced on everything. But the steering's very good, it's very accurate. I think that's due to this having the performance package. It's got an upgraded stability control and dynamic. Okay, so my 3 pros and cons about this car. So I'll start with my cons, start with the negatives, although there's not really too many negatives. For me, when closing the car, it sounds like the alarm's going off. That's really annoying. And also the view out the back. It hasn't got too many blind spots, this car, but the view out the back isn't very good. So that's 2. And then my third one is that I feel when I click the paddle shifts, I think it should go into like a M mode or a sports mode rather than just a normal driving manual mode, because you have to then flick the gear stick over to get it in manual or M mode, and then you have to use the full performance once you've got it in D, which is a dynamic mode, and then use the paddle shifts. I think that's just a bit of a shame. I know it's the diesel model, but even so, even if I had the petrol, I'd be pretty not pissed off, but disappointed with that side of things. My 3 pros, I do think it looks very, very nice. It's a very good looking car aesthetically. The steering wheel's comfortable, it's a comfortable enough car. The paddle shifts look really cool, I like that, and they're a good distance and they're a good size too. And I like it how it's sort of simplistic, but it does so well on many levels, this car. So that's my pros and cons. I hope you like that. That's just my opinion. Everyone else obviously has their own opinion to cars, but that's mine. I also don't really like this reversing camera. It's not very good. It's not totally clean. So if you look here, you can actually see part of the number plate. So the reversing camera isn't very great, and it looks so dated. But that's just me. Anyway, hi guys, thanks for watching another great episode with Car Talks. Now, that's it for this car. Please smash that like button. But if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button here. And don't forget, if you want to watch any more of our content, click up here. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time.